Hello guys, it's Letharia with Teen Wolf, episode 19 of Teen Wolf Season 3. The episode is titled Letharia Vulpina. The episode is named for a type of fungus that is commonly used to poison wolves and foxes. So this episode starts off, we see a group of Yakuza are gathered at their boss's home high above Beacon Hills. He is angry because his pet white wolf is sick and he grows tired of waiting for the doctor. It is Dr. Dean who comes to treat the wolf. After a brief examination, he asks if the wolf, Yuki, has been around any unusual plants. He describes a type of lichen that is bright green, almost neon. The boss admits that such a plant grows in his garden. Dean says he needs a sample to determine the species. When all of his men refuse to show the doctor to the garden, he calls them superstitious idiots and takes Deaton himself. The garden is the same one where young Chris Argent first encountered the Oni. The lichen grows on top of the fountain where the blood fell when the Negotiator was killed. I'm pretty sure I'm pronouncing that word wrong. I'm pretty sure I am. Deaton hands a glass container to the boss. He then bends down to take a sample of the plant. He says it is likely that Yuki will never come anywhere near this place. He says the wolf can sense what happened in the garden to the boss's father and the Negotiator that possessed him. The boss pulls a gun at him. Deaton is nonplussed and calmly explains that the plant is Letharia Vulpina, or a wolf lichen, and describes the process by which it is used to kill predators, wolves and foxes. He says they would put out meat stuffed with lichen and broken glass that the animals would eat. The broken glass would perforate the internal organs and allow the volcanic acid to reach them faster. That's kind of messed up though. Like, why would you do that to the fox and wolf? You know, can't you just scare them away? I'm just saying though. I'm saying. Glass to cut their organs open. They're going to be chewing on it, and then the poison could get to them fast. That's just cruel. That's so cruel. Angry and confused, the boss wants to know what Deaton did to his wolf. The doctor says he gave him a strong paralytic agent and that the glass vial the boss is holding is coated with the same substance. The boss drops the gun and his hand is because his hand is no longer able to hold it. As he places his sample into the bottle, Dean explains that this particular plant is quite special because it was born out of the blood of a Negotiator. Dean says there is a fox hiding inside a teenage boar and I'm going to poison it. A sparkling power line from the roof of Beacon Hills Hospital is flying at Kira's face because she's still just standing there like, ooh, look, it's coming at me. It whips past her, but then, like it has a mind of its own, it seems to chase her, backing her up into the parking lot. An ambulance speeds around the corner and hits the electrical line. The driver loses control and rams a fire hydrant. Water sprays everywhere, so you kind of know where this is going. Water, electricity. And begins to pull and run across the parking lot. Dazed by the impact, the ambulance driver stumbles out of the vehicle. When his foot hits the wet ground, he is instantly electrocuted. Isaac and Allison arrive just in time to witness it. When Allison runs forward to help the driver, Isaac pushes her back just as the water reaches his feet. He is also felled by electrified water. Obviously, he's going to be out for a while. Wolves and electricity don't get along too good. The winner of the Die on Team Wolf contest. What? Of all the Die on Team Wolf, one, I knew there was a contest, but I know you had to die. I guess you gotta start somewhere, So the chick who won the contest steps from the car and is electrocuted. Derek and Scott arrive just as Kira somersaults over a car and grabs the live wire. She casts the sparkling in with her free hand, and the power subsides as her eyes begin to glow warm amber. Kira's mom exits the hospital just in time to witness her daughter's power. Derek rushes to Isaac and finds he is not breathing. 48 hours later, Scott is in bed fully clothed. He remembers the events of that night again. A badly burned Isaac is rushed into the emergency room. Deputy Parrish reports that Styles' Jeep was seen leaving the hospital. Kira's mom warns her that it is not the time for people to see her power. Agent McCall notes that the power line was cut and warns that everyone should be looking for signs of sabotage. Derek tells Scott to tell Sheriff Zelinsky what's really wrong with Styles. Melissa McCall holds a cup of tea at the kitchen table when her son comes in. She explains that they're still not found Styles after 48 hours. She says despite how long he's been gone, if anyone could be missing for 2 days, then turn up and be just fine, it would be Styles. They decide to stop by the hospital on the way to school to check on Isaac. Sheriff Zelinsky is looking at a text from his son. It reads, am okay. Please don't look for me. Be back soon. Deputy Parrish arrives with a delivery man who has 2 boxes wrapped in brown paper which Parrish explains are printer cartridges and stuff. batteries for the next blackout. Agent McCall enters and asks if the sheriff has any problems with the Yakuza. Allison has fallen asleep in the hallway of the hospital. She explains to Scott and Mrs. McCall that they won't let her in to see Isaac because she's not family. She says she told them that he doesn't have any family because his daddy, as we know, locked him in the freezer. Melissa says he got us and produces her key card and lets Allison and Scott in to see him. Isaac is badly burned on the side of his face and neck. Both Allison and Scott are surprised that he has not yet healed. Scott takes his arm and absorbs some of Isaac's pain. He explains that it won't heal him, but he won't hurt as much. Allison wants to know if Styles is really responsible. Scott says whatever is inside of Styles did it and that he's working on getting out of his friend. Later at school, Kira explains that Kusune are tricksters and have no concept of right or wrong, but that negotiate react badly if you're offended, adding that with the level of bad being perpetrated, someone really, really pretty much pissed off this negotiate. So they're tricksters, somebody probably pissed him off, and now he's reacting. Coach blows his whistle and reminds his team that if anyone sees Styles, they should immediately report it to a teacher. He then says there is a card for Isaac on his desk. He insists that the team not only sign the card, but each must write a personal message so profound and deep that it will spring a tear to Coach's eye. Danny is first up to sign. The coach warns him to keep it PG. The twins report to Scott that they've not seen Styles or the demonic ninjas, the Oni. At that moment, their werewolf hearing picks up the piercing tone of one of Chris Argent's ultrasonic emitters. They follow the sound to the basement where they find Styles waiting. The twins attack until Scott forces them off, throwing Ethan against the locker and then growling Aiden into submission. Alpha Star. Isn't it when Scott does his alpha thing? It's just it's like making hair stand up on end, like woo, like you want to obey him, like yes, Alpha, yes, sir. Styles explains that he doesn't know what he's been doing for pretty much 2 days. He has pretty much a blank slate. He has a blueprint of the hospital electrical grid and a bag full of rope, wire and tools, as well as a map of the cross-country team's running trail. The trail is the same area where Mahalia Tate lost her family in a car wreck and where her father put out a bunch of metal bear traps in an attempt to catch a wood coyote. Believing the new skin has used Styles to set up booby traps along the trail, the trio race to stop the team. Lydia sees her mom down at the end of the hall where she is talking to Peter Hale. As she draws closer, Peter disappears in the crowd. When questioned, Lydia's mom says Peter claimed to be from the health department and was there to set up hearing tests for the students. He also apparently slipped Miss Martin his phone number, so when she chirped, she still got it. And Lydia's just like, it's kind of like, you get that your mom is, she's a grown woman, but it's kind of like, still kind of like, I don't want to know that you still got it. I don't need a visual of that. I don't need, it's like, you don't want a visual, like, mom on a date, no. Because, nowadays dates lead to more than, just dinner in a movie. You don't want to need that visual. Chris Archer returns home to find his door ajar and an ultrasonic emitter stabbed him in the top of his office desk. Derek Hale is in the room. He knocks the gun from Archer's hand and places his claws against his neck. Chris pulls another gun and holds it to Derek's temple. Derek accuses Arjun of leaving the emitter in his loft. Now, an easy truce is established and the weapons are put away. On the trail, Danny takes the lead but is passed by a gleeful Kira who suddenly realizes that she can run supernaturally fast. Styles and Aiden catch up to Coach at the start of the trail. Arjun realizes that one of his cabinets has been forced open. Inside, there is a metal briefcase. After checking it for a trap, they open it and find $150,000. It is the money that would have come from the sale of his antique gun to Silverfinger. At that moment, Agent McCall comes in with the prosthetic Silverfinger in an evidence bag and says the old Yakuza is dead. Ethan catches and tackles Danny, who is confused until the Were twin says he missed him and starts kissing him. Scott manages to stop Kira, who is still giddy with her speed ability. Styles, Coach, and Aiden arrive and they manage to stop the rest of the cross-country team. Styles finds a chain under some leaves but is attached to nothing. Coach believes that this is just another funny, weird Zelensky moment, begins to berate him and steps forward into a tripwire. An arrow punctures Coach's diaphragm and he collapses. Allison and Lydia arrive at Derek's loft to see Peter. Allison is trying to talk her friend out of it, but Lydia, worried about her recent colossal failure in using her banshee abilities, wants to help Peter's offering. Allison says Peter doesn't offer help. He offers to manipulate people into giving him what he wants. On the trail, Coach is screaming. Styles is pushing on the wound in his stomach, which has spread blood all over his shirt. The arrow is still there, and the coach is screaming for someone to pull it out. Styles gives Scott a look indicating he should use his abilities to take the pain away. Scott does, and so Coach passes out. Derek and Chris are handcuffed to a bench outside Sheriff Scalency's office. They discuss why Styles would want to frame them for murder. Chris says he's not entirely convinced that's what's going on and comes up with a scheme to buy more time to figure it out. He asks Derek to say that he wants Argent's attorney to represent him as well. Peter wants Addison to leave. Lydia says she stays because the last time she was alone with Peter, she almost bled out on the lacrosse field. Peter defends himself, explaining that, again, he didn't want to kill her because she was his backup plan, and then claims that the bite is what brought out her nascent abilities. Then, in a passable Humphrey Bogart accent, Peter says, "I'm the spark that lit your fire, sweetheart." And he then uses his circular logic to suggest that he brainwashed her and used her to bring him back to life so that he could be here helping her understand her banshee abilities, to which Addison says he's insane. They turn to leave, but Peter entices them back with information about her powers. He says her banshee scream simply blocks out all the other noise so she can hear what she really needs to. He says that he can help her focus her hearing. He explains that in exchange for his help, he needs Lydia to listen to his dead sister's calls to find out what memory she stole from him. Coach gets put into an ambulance, and Sheriff Scalency finally gets to hug his son. Aiden discovers wrapping paper in the back of Styles' Jeep. Remembering that William Barrow used a gift wrap package to deliver his bomb to a school bus, they call the school and evacuate all the kids off the buses, all but one. Jared is sitting near the back of the bus. That's the one who was in the episode Frey, who was vomited on a school bus. Deputy Parrish says that he can safely get a look at what type of bomb they're dealing with because he has certified HDT after 2 years in the military. HDT stands for Hazardous Device Team. I mean, that's very useful in the police force. You know, they never know when a bomb might come up, so you know that's useful. Lydia holds Taylor's claws. Peter says she needs to focus, but he says he can see the wheels spinning behind her eyes. He explains that her hearing is attuned to a level of the universe that no one else can hear. That's kind of cool, though. But it only works if she is listening. When he yells at her to try harder, Addison whips out the electro cattle prod device. He pops his claws and says Aunt Kate had the same thing, but it didn't help her when he slashed her throat. Lydia screams at them to stop and throws Talia's claws so hard that they stick into a wooden beam like darts. She begins to hear whispering. Peter grows more and more agitated as Lydia listens to the voices. Finally, she turns and says, "You're not just an uncle." Derek is annoyed and wants to break out because Argent says he could too, but doesn't want to be a fugitive from the law. He convinces Derek to be patient a little while longer. While Derek agrees, he says that if something happens, don't expect me to risk my life for yours. Miss Yukamura is waiting for her husband in the classroom. Kira is following him at a discreet distance. He enters, closes the door, and retrieves a large history of the world book from a shelf. She's incredulous that he hid them in a book, but he says that it's the safest place around a bunch of teenagers because few would ever willingly open a book. Boys, isn't that so true? I have a story to tell you guys later when I start doing vlogs about that situation. Oh my god, that is so funny because that gave me a good idea for a vlog. Inside the pages have been cut to create 9 slots. Each is designed to hold a single black knife. Mr. Yukamura tells his wife that she needs to tell Kira especially about this, indicating the book. He says she has already sacrificed 5. He says 3 of the Oni are gone and then asks how many tails are you willing to sacrifice. She says all of them if she has to. She then removes one of the knives, about a foot in length, all black with a rectangular hilt. She snaps the knife in two, causing her husband to wince as if in pain. A blue light escapes the 2 broken pieces of the knife. She said she lays the piece down and repeats the process with a second knife. He says these Oni will be stronger, much stronger. Parrish enters the bus and tries to keep Jared calm while he checks out the wrap package. Jared is sweating profusely, and Parrish pretty much tells him, "Please don't throw up." He keeps talking to the distracted boy, explaining that he is 24 but still looks young, and that anyone can look young if they eat right, exercise. Ain't that the truth? I'm 20. I'm about to be 23, but I have people tell me all the freaking time, "You sure you're 22? You look 16." I didn't know I still look 16, but I pretty much eat healthy and I keep fit. So that's all you need to do. Eat fit, go green a little bit. It's not gonna kill you. I'm not saying go completely vegan if that's what you think, but eating some healthy fruits and vegetables, keeping that in your diet and exercise is not gonna kill you. But he says that you eat right, etc. But that it really comes down to good genes. That also helps too. Your genes, parents' genetics. While he continues with this pattern, he managed to snap the ribbon from the box. He slowly pries it open, the lid, and looks inside. Parrish radios the sheriff that it's not a bomb, but that something else was in the box. He then walks to the front of the bus and holds up the nameplate from Sheriff Shalinski's desk. The sheriff remembers that the package was delivered to him that morning, realizing that the bomb was at the station. The deputies at the station are in a panic. They hastily unlock Argent and Derek's handcuffs and run for the door. Derek seems to hear something coming from the box on Shalinski's desk and yells for Argent to get down, then covers him with his own body to shield him from the blast. At the school, Mr. Yukimura and his wife watch as the sun sets. At the Nimbasan, fireflies erupt from the magic stump. They are slightly different than the ones seen before. There's a blue, slightly metallic sheen to their wings. Inside the sheriff's station, Sheriff Shalinski is calling for an ambulance, report multiple officers down. Derek's back is riddled with glass shards as Argent helps him stand. Derek says he's okay. Argent points out that Derek saved his life. Styles and Scott kneel by one badly injured deputy. Styles encourages Scott to take the dying man's pain, which he does until the man expires. Kira runs in and tells him that the Oni are coming. They plan to take Styles to the vet clinic since it's lined with mountain ash and will offer some limited protection from the demon warriors. Lydia denies knowing anything beyond the fact that Peter is a father. Peter makes to physically threaten her, but Allison jabs him in the back with a cattle prod and he is left writhing on the floor. Later in the car, she and Allison each pull up a different image on their phones. One of them is of Peter, the other is of Mahalia Tate. Lydia says Mahalia is Peter's daughter. Ain't that interesting? He's a peppy. Scott, Styles, and Kira arrive at the clinic just before the Oni. Scott and Kira fight them off while Styles unlocks the door. During the fight, one of the Oni stabs Scott in the stomach, leaving the sword lodged in him. They manage to get Scott inside, but then Styles grabs Kira's arm and slams her head into the exam table, locking her out. He then grabs the hilt of the sword and twists. Negotiator Styles explains that he feeds on pain and misery and that he's been manipulating Scott to soak up as much pain as he could all day just so he could feed. Then placing his hand on the side to the side of Scott's head, he absorbs all the pain Scott has taken. Then all smiles. Negotiator Styles says Scott really has to learn not to trust a fox because they are tricksters. What does the fox say? Ding, 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 ding. They fool you. While in the flashback, we see the negotiator show his true face several times throughout the day. So at every instance, from the coach to the bombing photo, you see the negotiator. You see Evil Styles. I'm gonna start saying Evil Styles. You'll see Evil Styles, kind of do like ha ha ha. They don't know what I'm up to kind of face that you really don't even notice, but you gotta really kind of pay attention to. Then all smiles. Negotiator Styles says Scott really. Oh yeah, I said that already. He finishes by saying they'll fool everyone. At that point, Dean steps up and says, "Not everyone." He then injects a syringe into Styles' neck, so the negotiator collapses on the floor. Dean pulls the sword out of Scott and explains that he poisoned the fox, but it's not dead yet. So, I haven't watched episode 20 yet, but so my prediction so far is obviously they gotta figure out how to get this evil spirit out of Styles, and not only that, but they gotta figure out what pissed this thing off. So so obviously we're probably gonna go back to that flashback from Chris Argent, cause that's kind of what this thing probably started, was this. So obviously that flashback is probably gonna have more to it, and not only that, we're gonna probably know more about Styles' mom because she had these same symptoms, and we're gonna probably see maybe his mommy was the negotiator, probably possessing his son because he had the same symptoms. So that'll be interesting to see. So when I eventually watch episode 20, I will review it and upload it to my channel. And also, I will be doing all my reviews for The Walking Dead tomorrow. And also tomorrow, I will be doing the reviews for Supernatural, because that comes back on tonight. And of course, I have to catch up on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Also, don't forget to check out my other websites. Not websites, but my other profiles, my Instagram. I'll upload stuff on there. My Twitter. I pretty much use my Twitter to keep everything, keep my subscribers updated. And also, I have a blog. You can also check that out too. So, comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.